How's it, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Culture the Podcast. I'm here with a buddy of mine that I've known for quite a while. Went to high school together, and just been following him on Instagram and seen his journey.
Was it junior high too or just high school?
Just high school,
Okay.
yeah.
I couldn't remember. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
My buddy Steve Simmons. Steve has gone through quite a transformation as long as I've known him. He went from being like I wouldn't say a skinny kid,
Pretty skinny kid,
but pretty skinny kid in high school to the mountain you see now. And the reason I wanted to have you on, especially I want to have you on in June, is because a lot of people don't realize, it gets overshadowed with a lot of other things that get celebrated in June, but it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Absolutely.
And then you kind of went on, I wouldn't say it was a rant, but you went on this really good, powerful kind of speech in your stories about, your struggle with mental health and how it doesn't so much get seen or shown, because a lot of people see your physical change and how you've developed over the years and have been really I guess positive and very motivated by what you've done, but never really bothered to check in on your mental health.
It's true. It's fitness has been a big part of my life, probably for the past 13, 14 years now. And like I said, I've recently started touching base on mental health because of what I've been through, and just wanting to kind of put more of that out there, because I've always been putting my fitness journey out there.
Right.
I've been doing that for so long. A lot of people know me as that too. Fitness, and that's great. I love fitness. I'm always love fitness. But there's another side of me, at least, that I guess just like all men have kept that inside us. Whether it be a lot of it's mental health, even if we don't know it's mental health.
Right.
It's mental health. So and that's a big part of my journey, and still part of my journey. So I've been wanting to speak on that a little bit more. Now that I'm getting older, I just turned 40, and I want to kind of throw it out there too, where it's us as men need to be comfortable about talking about these things.
Right.
Especially with other men.
Right.
Because we'll dive into this deeper, but my journey, I'll tell my story and I'll be raw with it and let people know what I've been through, where I've got to where I'm at now. But mental health is not addressed.
Yeah.
And it's up to us, the individual, to address it ourselves.
Right.
And so speaking on it, I feel like if I start speaking on it more, it'll at least bring it forth to other guys that might be going through the same shit I'm going through.
Right.
And don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Or don't even know that that's what it is.
Right. That's one of the biggest things that, myself, I've struggled with, my mental health for years, ever since I was a kid, and one thing I've always kept with me is that I know that my darkest points and where I am now, it's always been kind of a comfort to know and it may not even be rock bottom, but for me it was rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's I know what rock bottom feels like, and I know that I can get out of it. So anytime I dip into that kind of depression or any kind of anxiety or things that I have or struggles that I'm dealing with, trying to manage my stress and things like that, I know that it's as bad as it gets, that there's a way out. You know what I mean? There's a way to climb out of it, or there's a way to to build yourself back up.
There's tools, that you can use, that not everybody knows or has those.
Right.
And that's where it gets scary.
Yeah, myself included. I know what I did to help myself out, but I don't know what's out there for me to that could have been a faster approach or a healthier approach. You know what I mean? Or something that could have sparked it in me a little sooner, instead of letting it get so bad.
Yeah.
I used to when I was in my lowest is where I kind of started learning about meditation, breathing, and getting more in touch with my spirituality.
Yes, that's big too.
And when I started realizing that life is more than just a physicality, and consciousness has a lot to do with where you are in life, I started realizing okay, there's other ways that I can kind of harness a positive like positivity from the world.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
but it's a tough road to take, and it's tough to figure out on your own. You know, and like now they have, like life coaches and therapists and things like that that are extremely helpful. You know,
And like you said, yeah, there's more outlets now because think about it. We're how old are you? We're close to 70.
I'm about to be 40 this
About
year.
40, and I look like one big part about us, is like I talk about the conditioning that men have gone through, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And we're from that time where, I don't know about you, but I think most men our age or older, maybe even a little bit younger than us, we can relate to like being brought up with that condition of being a man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just be a fucking man.
Yeah, deal with it like a man.
And what is when you sit down and think about now, like I'm pretty sure your vision of what a man is now is different than what we were brought up on.
Right.
Being a man when we're younger means we can't cry.
Right.
We can't show, we're sad.
Mm-hmm.
If we get hurt, like tough it out. It's like, or being a macho man. What's
Right.
macho man? Who knows whether it be womanizing or drinking or, or being an athlete. It's like, so we have this conception of like, that's what being a man is.
Right.
So when we get older, when we get to a point where we feel sad, we feel depressed, we feel anxiety, how do we deal with it? Oh, just be a fucking man.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to be a man? Oh, this deep conditioning that was instilled in us at such a young age, that's all that we have.
Right.
So we're not going to reach out to our fellow man. We're not going to reach out maybe even to our father or family.
Right.
Because we weren't taught that way. We're taught the minute I reach out and express that, now I'm a little bitch.
Yeah.
Or now I'm not a man.
Right.
So for the younger generation now, I love the fact that we have these outlets and it's talked about more. Mm-hmm. And that's another reason why I think I like talking about it more, specifically for everybody, specifically for men, but even for men my age and older and younger, because there's still so many men out there that aren't comfortable about this, bro, that are struggling with this every day. And they're either boozing it, doing drugs, or suppressing it and holding it in, which I did for years too. Mm-hmm. And I'll get into that too. And with my drug addiction, alcoholism, that's how anytime I didn't want to feel.
Yeah.
How do I get away from feeling? Let's get high.
Yeah.
Let's get drunk. Let's suppress this.
Yeah, for sure.
And dude, that just leads to nothing but more depression, more anxiety, more you name it.
You pile more on top.
You just pile until sooner or later, bro. Like you said, you hit your rock bottom where it bottles up and explodes, and you can hurt yourself, you can hurt somebody else, and that's not how it should be, man.
Definitely.
That's not how it should be,
I want to get more into your specific journey and like, so when do you think your mental health took its biggest kind of like setback?
Okay, we get into it. Is when my mother died.
I was gonna mention, 'cause I remember in high school that was one of the biggest things.
My mother died our senior year.
Yeah.
Of cancer.
Yeah.
So she had developed breast cancer a few years prior. The timeline, dude, like even me is still cloudy because when you're younger, it's still you block out a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. A lot of trauma.
But a lot of trauma. So my mama had developed breast cancer. I want to say it might have been even like the end of junior high, maybe the beginning of high school. Mm-hmm. And she had the lumpectomy, had it removed and all that stuff. And everything was cool. I remember, made it through it. And then I remember time had passed and she started developing like a pain in her back, started doing some stuff, and it was a tumor. Cancer that came back. And I didn't find this out till later in life, but apparently when she went and got it checked out, the doctor had fucked up, dude, and didn't diagnose it as cancer again. So that I think if it would have been diagnosed sooner, she might have had a better chance.
Right.
And I'm not saying she would have made it, but another like long period of time went by before they realized like shit, it is a fucking tumor, it is cancer.
Right.
And then I remember at that point it spread. This was like, I want to say it happened fast, man. I want to say probably maybe late junior year, maybe before that, going into senior year, she had got it. And I remember being at the house and talking to my mom, she's going to doctor visits, I'm taking her to chemo, I'm taking her to fucking radiation, and I'm seeing, how it's affecting her, I'm seeing it as part of her life now. And I remember that I'll never forget that day, we were at the house and we sat down and talked, and I was just like, so what's up? Like, when are you getting better? When is this, and then that's when she told me like she was terminal. And I was just like what? Like, what do you mean? And like, she's like, I'm not gonna get better. And I was just like, even to this day, man, I remember just like, I didn't even know how to accept that, bro.
Yeah.
Now I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and I would say I was more of a mama's boy too. You know, I was close to my mom, so I was just like, what, like, no. And then, you know, growing in high school, you know me, bro. I was a punk rocker. You know, like me.
Yeah.
So, and I was already experimenting with drugs a little bit. You know, getting high and stuff. And I remember at that point, when my mom got sick, and then when she got terminal, bro, she had hospice. So, you know, I don't know people, you know, hospice is when they have like an in-house nurse taking care. Right. So it was like, she was terminal, and that shit like spread to like her liver. It spread to like, you know, once it spread to those main organs, bro, it's like, it's a wrap, bro.
It's a fast decline, yeah.
So I remember it would happen quick, bro. And then my mom passed away, and I remember, and I was still in high school, you know, and I was still, and you know what I did? I was like, okay, my mom died. I remember I took like, I don't even know, a couple weeks off from school. I can't even remember. And I remember I was just like, bam, bro. I was like, I didn't talk to my dad about it. You know, I didn't really talk to my other family about it. You know, I have a little sister. You know, she was like 12, going through her own motherfucking shit. You know, she just lost her mom. I lost my mom. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stuff this shit down, be a man. Right. You know, not show emotion. You know, like I did my crying on my own, bro, but like that was it. Yeah. And then I remember finishing school that senior year. However I could, you know, I made it through, you know, I did what I had to do, you know. But I remember like after that, dude, it was just like, boom, like I had choices to make. I wasn't going down the path to heal, because I didn't have those outlets at the time. Yeah. So now I went down the path of basically just spiraling of drugs, crime, whatever, bro. You know, hanging out with some dudes and you know, jacking, stealing, robbing, and getting high, bro. Right. And that's when I really started. That's when my drug addiction and alcoholism really started. So I was about 19 years old, and that's when I really started diving into, like, you know, meth, coke, even crack, bro. You know, like. So this is my story. So people get to really hear my story. Only some people know my real story, and this is it. Yeah. You know, and drinking. You know, and I did that, bro, on and off again for years, bro. Right. Years and years and years. Trying to get sober, trying to, you know, holding this trauma, you know, creating more trauma, you know, failed relationships along the way, you know, with women, you know, hurting people, you know, hurting myself, you know. I never, and then not to mention, I turned my back on my higher power, you know, because I feel like, okay, there can't be no God, bro. Took my mom, this and that, so I was just running and gunning.
They turn their back on you. Yeah. In a sense, you feel, you know, at that age, you don't really get it. Yeah. You know. So then you figure I was 19. You know, fast forward to like 10 years down the line. So like I'm like 28, 29. Yeah. I've been with this girl that was a really sweet girl. We were together for maybe like 3 years, and she was the first one that like I used to hide my drug addiction, bro. I'd get high like on the side or like at work, or, you know, and I would completely hide it. That's another reason why, well, let me go back a little bit. So about 27, 28, I made a decision. I broke up with one of my exes. I was living out in the valley, away from everybody, bro. Like in North Hollywood, I was living out there for like 2 years. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get clean. I moved back to Long Beach. I was like, I'm gonna get clean. So that's when I started my fitness journey. Right. Okay. So I went balls to the wall, bro, working out. Like I made a complete transformation. Yeah. I think it was like from 27 to 28, bro. And it was great because I had turned one addiction into another addiction. Right. Okay. A healthier addiction. Right. Which is, you know, what a lot of people that make it through find that healthy addiction. Yeah. And harness it.
And I did. Yeah. Because I've always had that mentality, bro. I have a mentality where I'm like one speed, full speed, bro. Right. That's like my mentality. If I'm gonna do something, I'm going balls to the wall on it. Right. There ain't no half-assing it, you know? Right. So I did the same thing with getting sober, getting clean. And when I say getting clean, at this time I was just stopping the hard drugs. Right. I still smoke marijuana, but I love weed. Yeah. I still love weed. I don't smoke, but I still love weed. Yeah. And drinking. So like, let me quit the hard shit, you know, focus on working out. Worked out for a year, made a transformation, you know, to the point where people are like, wow, dude, you know, how'd you do it? You know, this, and, you know, well, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of onto something with the fitness thing, you know? So I started working out more, you know, and then got a couple years under my belt, you know, looking good. started dating this girl at the time, you know, and everything was going good. And I remember, I can't pinpoint exactly what happened, but I had a relapse. You know, I had a relapse, started smoking meth again, doing drugs, coke, whatever. Still drinking and still smoking. You know, that's always been there. Uh, and I came cleaner because she caught me one day, dude. I was like on a bender, bro. I think I was up for a couple days, and I think she was going through my phone, and she seen me like talking to other girls or just you know tweaking on whatever I was doing at the time, bro. You know, when I was on that, I was just fucking, you know, not thinking straight. And she's like, what is this? Like, what's going on? And I was just like, I came clean. I was just like, I'm on drugs. She's like, what? Like totally floored, bro, because you know I kept it, hit it from her and everybody, bro.
Yeah.
You know, then it got to the point where once I started using it, that was like my then I started using my fitness as a cover up, bro.
Right.
Because I'm like, people ain't ever gonna believe I'm using.
Right.
Because look how I look.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sure. So then my twisted crazy mind went that way. I'm like, okay, I can keep this up.
Did you think that you were like, because you had made that transition and and like you're starting to get these results, did you think like, I'm cured, like I'm good?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and so you're like, what's a little bit of, you know, partying a little bit, you know?
Absolutely, bro. And that's how it started. Oh, let me get like, you know,
so it wasn't like another event that like kind of fucked you up and you were just kind of like, damn, like no, I need to escape this. It was more kind of like,
well, you know what, I can't pinpoint an exact event, but it was unhealed trauma for sure, you know, and addiction, and you know, and we can get into that too, because I don't know what. There's another debate about drug addiction being a disease, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm on that side where I believe it's a disease. You know, I'm an addict, bro. Okay. I'm an alcoholic addict. Okay. No matter how long I've been sober and clean, I'm always gonna identify as that.
Right.
You know, and people be like, oh, you know, just same thing. People will throw it out there. Oh, you're just weak, bro. You don't have no discipline, this and that. No, bro. It really is a disease, bro. People that are, you know, because I have friends that can get high. You know, do some powder, do whatever, bro, and that's cool. Yeah. Do it 1-2 times, get high, forget about it.
Yeah.
Addicts like us, bro, we do it, and then we can't stop.
I have this kind of, I'm not to interrupt you or disrupt what you got going on, but I have this theory that it's the same kind of mental like fortitude that you have with, like you said, addiction to working out and going like full, you know, one speed is 1,000. That's it.
Yeah,
you know? And it's just I guess people call it a disease when it's something that's negative, you know, but when it's used for something positive, people just call it like, oh, you just have this you have this thing, you have this factor that keeps you on, you know, like Michael Jordan, like he was the greatest because he was obsessive about this, you know, and it's like anything that's too excessive can be harmful at one point.
Well, just like I know people in the bodybuilder world, bro, where it's like they're so obsessive where, you know, they take diuretics, they take this thing, you know, stuff like which is very harmful.
Yeah.
You know, they look healthy, but really, bro, they're even more unhealthy than the dude eating fucking fast food and drinking beer all day.
Their insides are destroyed because of
So you're absolutely right,
the
dude.
strain that they're putting on their body.
It goes both ways.
Right.
And I know this sounds crazy too, but there is still a healthy way to use drugs and drink alcohol. You know, whether people want to agree or not.
Right.
It's not healthy at all to do it, but there's still a healthy way to do it.
Right.
A responsible way to drink, and you know, if you want to get higher, there's still a responsible way.
Right.
But not everybody's doing it that way.
Not everyone's built to pull back on the reins.
Exactly.
You know, like some people are just kind of like, it's like a water slide. If I get on, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
You know, and some people are able to like just like, you know, ride the brake their entire life, you know, and like, oh yeah, no, I'll touch on it, and be good.
And I used to resent those people a lot, dude, because I would always wish I could do that, you know.
Yeah, definitely. You look at it as kind of like damn, like that you, and you can look at it as admiration too, where it's like, man, you have something, like you may look at me like in your case, you may look at me and see the transformation I made because of my obsessive like mentality. You know, and I was able to do this, and you may envy me because I have that, but at the same time, I envy you because you're able to be moderate about how you do things, you know, and you sure it may not benefit you in your goals to be, you know, like super fit or super like as lean as you want to be or as big as you want to be, because you don't have that drive, but you're still able to be consistent and healthy in the way you're being, you know, because you're doing it moderately, you know. So yeah, there's definitely aspects to each, you know, and like my dad would always tell me, he's like, the key to life is balance.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
the more you balance it out, you know, excess, anything in excess is terrible for like you said, like your bodybuilder friends were like, they're so extreme with the way their their picture of perfection or a perfect body is, that they're destroying themselves internally to
Exactly.
look great, you know, externally.
And yeah, and that's like what you said as far as looking on it goes both ways. I agree. Like going back to I said how it was a disease, and you said it was there an event that happened
That triggered,
on
yeah.
that relapse, and I was like, I don't remember any specific event, but it was just unhealed trauma, you know, and
Building
probably
up.
emotions and feelings that were easily that I probably didn't want to, you know, experience. You know, I got to a point where, you know, you get to a little point where you think maybe like, okay, well maybe I'm good now, you know.
Yeah.
It was always, you know, it was always something like that, you know, and like let me just do a little bit or let me try this, you know. And when I got caught that time, I kind of kept came clean about what I was doing, and then it was it was good at that moment because it allowed me to get some support from my girlfriend at the time, and bring it to light a little bit for people who know, you know, so I could stop.
Right.
As far as like I said with the hard drugs, and then I did that for a few. I did that for a few years, you know. Didn't touch any of that, and I felt good. I was good. I was like okay. Um, and then broke up with that girlfriend, you know. Got with a girl, my wife now, my current wife. Got with her, and I was already lifting. I think I did a competition already, and I was focused on doing another competition. But I was still dabbling like a little bit, and I was open with my wife. Like my wife now, I was open when I met her, you know, and she was like accepting, you know, she was accepting of, you know, because I wasn't. I was at kind of the point where I was being able to handle myself, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with like, and when I wasn't using any, I was doing like coke, you know, every now and again. You know, I like to party with coke, drink, and smoke weed moderately.
Right.
You know, still lifting, still being healthy, still be responsible. You know, not letting it affect me in a real negative way.
Right.
And then this was probably like around 2000. I think the last competition I did was like 2017, and I did a classic physique bodybuilding. And dude, I fucking this is how I could explain to you how my addiction works. I went like 3 months, bro. Nothing. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do anything. Dialed in my diet, dialed in my training for this competition. I did the competition, I won.
Yeah.
I won my class and I battled for the overall and just lost the overall to another guy where like I almost won the overall. You know what, like for my category. And literally, bro, after the competition, you know, celebrated with everybody, friends and family, whatever, went out and ate. And then I celebrated by going and getting fucking a sack, bro, of coke. To get high and drink and like let's party.
Right, yeah.
You know, like, you know,
let's turn it up to 1,000.
Let's turn it up to 1,000. Like, dude, like let's party, you know? And it's like, and like that from that day forward, I continued to party a little bit, you know, and continued to like get a little more reckless. And then I said that was about 2017. So from 2017 to 2020, those 3 years was cool. Like I was, you know, doing relatively good, but I noticed my addiction started progressing as far as like with coke. I like uppers, bro. I've always was a stimulant. Like I was smoking weed and drinking all that shit, but I was a stimulant guy.
Yeah.
I like going fast, bro.
Right.
that's what I like,
Right.
you know. So I knew I wasn't fucking with meth because that's just bad, but I was fucking with coke, you know. But then it started getting bad. It started getting bad to the point like around 2000, probably like 19. I remember my wife, because it got to the point, bro, where like I wasn't social anymore, bro.
Right.
I'd get a sack, bro, and I would like go in our like guest room, bro, and just lock myself and just be by myself with it. I wouldn't even be social about it, you know. And then I wasn't putting this together because my brain was fucked up on this shit, you know. Yeah. And I'll be drinking with it and all that shit. And I remember my wife one day came up to me and she's like, "Hey, we've had some talks, you know, because she doesn't party like that." I remember, I'll never forget. She came to the day and she's like, she's from Texas. My wife's from Texas. So she came and she's like, "Hey, I'm going back home to visit my mom." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" It's like, "I need you to give me a ride to the airport." I'm like, "When?" She's like, "Today." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." She goes, I need to get away from here." I'm like, "Fuck." Like, it hit me like a ton of bricks, bro. Right, yeah. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." So I'm just like, "Damn." I'm like, "For real?" I was like, "Well, can I come visit you?" And she's like, sure, if you wanted. But like the way my work was lined up and all that, I couldn't even get out there for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I already realized like it's gonna be like 2 weeks before I even seen her. Mm-hmm. So took her to the airport, got back home, and I was like, fuck, dude, you know, I'm just like, what the fuck's going on, you know? Right. So the addict in me, bro, was just like, fuck it, bro. I'm by myself. Let's go party. Right. I remember I went and picked up a sack, came to the house, dude. I was getting ready to do it, and I swear to God, I have a dog, dude. You know, I have a dog, and I always laugh at this story. Like, I feel like this motherfucker kind of saved me to a certain point because it was like, I don't even know, it was like a Friday, Saturday night, bro. I had got a sack, bro, and I had a bottle, and you know, I was just gonna get high, bro, by myself and fucking do nothing. And I think this motherfucker, dog, animals are smart, bro. I think this motherfucker knew what's up because he hadn't seen mommy, you know, he hadn't seen my wife in a couple of days. He seen me. He knows when I would get high, but I'd be a different person. Right. I wouldn't pay attention to him as much, you know. Right. So I think this motherfucker knew something was up. So we have a little small backyard, so I let him in the backyard to go use the restroom. This dude went in the backyard. He never done this before in his life. He took his shit and he stepped up in the shit, bro, and he came back in the house and drug shit all up in the house. Right when I started getting high. And I was just like, what the fuck, bro? Are you kidding me? We're like shit everywhere, bro. Right. So now I'm cleaning the whole pad, bro. I'm fucking doing this. I'm fucking sweaty. I'm high. I'm just all that. And now I'm thinking about shit. So then I just kind of had like a little mini epiphany, bro. Yeah. I went and flushed the fucking
rest of the dope.
Flushed the dope, bro. Cleaned the house. And I said, okay, I bought my ticket to see my wife in like a week and a half. So I was like, let me just get clean before I go see her. Yeah. Got clean. You know, went and saw her. Everything was good, you know, fucking visitor out there. We just came back. She came back. I stayed clean, working out, everything was good. And I think it lasted, that sobriety at the time lasted a couple months. Okay? But mind you, this is part of my story. I was just getting clean off the hard drugs. I still drink and smoke weed every day, bro.
Okay? Hold on, let me reset the cameras real quick, and then we'll get back right where you're at. All right, we're back. So
I said, like, we got back from Texas. I had a few months clean, you know, feeling good, everything good, you know. Like I said again, but being clean for me was off the hard drugs.
Off the hard drugs, yeah.
I still smoked weed and drank every day, bro, you know, and lifted and did my thing, you know, stayed in shape.
So you were drinking every day too? Or just like...
I was a social drinker, but I was still an alcoholic, bro. You know, because most of the time when I would drink. You know, and I wasn't even like, that's one thing about.
Does your wife drink? Does she?
Yeah, she likes. She'll drink wine, champagne. You know, even if she's not really a drinker.
Right. Okay.
But me, like, cause like I'd party, so I would like, dude, I would put down a 30 pack, I'd put down a bottle, cause I'd be getting high with it. Right. You know, and that's how I drank. So when I would drink, I'd drink beers with the fellas, bro, socially, but I'd smoke weed every day. Right. And then I think I had a few months, bro, clean, sober, and then sure enough, I relapsed with the coke. You know, doing coke, cause that was just my thing, bro. I fucking liked it. Right. And now, this, like I said, this was around 2018, 19. So I you know, kind of did that, you know, from that time, you know, that was kind of my life, you know, still, you know, still supporting myself, still work, you know, still responsible adult, but dealing with these addictions and stuff, you know.
At this point, do you feel any of the like the trauma that like you were suppressing, or you were just kind of like, no, I'm just living?
I would feel the trauma and I would suppress it.
So the drugs were still kind of like
absolutely
like keeping the demons at bay.
Anytime I thought I was gonna feel, I don't want to feel, let's get high. You know, I never talked about my mom. Yeah. I never talked about you know, anything like that. Any feelings or emotions, bro? Nothing. My communication skills with my wife, bro, was fucked, bro. You know, like she would want to talk about stuff. How you doing? Oh, I'm good. Everything's okay. Right. You know, but deep down it wasn't. Yeah. You know, shit would, if shit bothered me or shit, you know, and then I couldn't communicate. Or if shit would happen, bro, my wife would get mad at me or something like that. I would like I wouldn't talk to her about it. I would like suppress it until I blow up and we get in a fight. Right. You know, so that was.
And now you're being an asshole.
And now I'm being an asshole. Yeah. And that was me talking. You know, that's another side of it. So now it's 2020. I had proposed to my wife. You know, we got engaged. You know, and the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And I remember this is the start of my sobriety, my real sobriety. We had some friends over at the house, and we were. My buddy knew about a spot in Hollywood. It was like a hookah lounge right there that was operating during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, there's some spots,
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, hey, let's go. It was like a Friday night, right? It was like a Friday night. We're like, fuck it, let's go. So it was a four of us, like double date. We went. We're drinking, having drinks, all four of us. I think we ate. We don't do the hookah or whatever, but we're just kicking back. And then we shut the bar down. It was like 2:00, and we're like, let's go back to our place, because they lived in Long Beach at the time. Like, just go hang out at our place. We had alcohol and shit, And then we get back to our place, and I was like, on the way home, like, hey, I'm gonna stop and pick up a sack, And they all knew I partied,
Yeah.
None of them partied, but they all knew I partied. Like, it was cool, it was nothing. So we get back to my place. Everybody's just, we got playing music, just chatting, we're friends, just talking shit, and I'm bumping it up, bro, doing coke and shit, whatever, talking. And everybody's just drinking, socializing, bro, and enjoying each other's company. And then my friends end up staying pretty late. They end up leaving at probably like 4 a.m. Like, all right, bro, we're out of here, bro, fucking let's get together. I was like, okay. So they leave. My wife goes to bed. I still got fucking some of my sack, bro, so I'm up. I'm doing it. I'm drinking, fucking. I'm just up, bro. Fucking, honoring, just fucking being a fucking weirdo. I used to call it being a weirdo, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking. And then I run out. That sack's gone. Now you figure it's Saturday morning. Probably like, who knows? I don't even know. 10, 11 o'clock. I go and pick up another sack. Okay. I go pick another sack. Now I'm doing that sack, and I'll probably pick up like 8 balls, bro.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick up a little bit. I'd pick up, decent amount.
Enough to keep you going.
Yeah. And then my wife wakes up. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, did you go get more? I was like, yeah, I got more. She's like, what the fuck? She's like, like, at that point, my wife knows me already. And she's kind of just like, whatever, it's like, okay, this guy, she used to call me, this guy's here now. Yeah. But it ain't Steve, it's this guy, right, you know? And I did that, bro. I made that last until like Saturday night. I went and got another one, bro. But now, and I haven't been, and all I'm doing is coke and drinking, bro. I think I put down like a 30-pack of Modelo. I think I put down like a bottle of Jameson. I'm on a good one, bro.
Yeah, and you're no small guy either. So
yeah. So like I'm on a good one now, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm already past that point to where just like I'm gone.
Yeah. You're on a bender.
I'm on a bender. Yeah. I'm on a fucking. It's fucking Sunday now, bro.
Yeah.
I started Friday night.
Right.
Granted, I have work on Monday morning, right? So fucking now I have the sack. I'm doing the sack. Now it's like Sunday evening. I have a little bit of coke left, and I'm like panic mode. Like, fuck, I haven't slept. I'm on one.
The crash is gonna be terrible.
Yeah, my wife isn't really even talking to me, bro.
Right.
She's just like, fucking, I ain't gonna deal with this motherfucker. She's in the room like just watching movies, whatever she's doing. And now I'm like, so now at this point I was working with Marvin at the time. We were doing a medical marijuana business.
The CBD stuff.
Yeah. So I with that company, I was the engineer at that company. I was the one that did the distillation process. I ran a couple of machines, so I knew what I had to do. Yeah. I made my own hours, bro. I did what I had to do, right? So now I'm just like, it's probably like 2 a.m, Sunday, bro, or Monday morning. Actually, it's Monday, and I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just like, let me just go into work now, get everything I need to get done, so then I can just get the fuck out of there. Marvin doesn't see me, no one sees me, and I can go home and crash, right? So this is where it gets fucking hairy, bro. I'm going into work, bro. I have a little bit of coke left, and like I'm crashing hard. I'm crashing hard. The alcohol, I'm hitting the wall, bro. I have fucking legitimate work to do. Yeah. I hit up my fucking meth guy, bro. Right? I haven't done meth, bro, in like 2 years. Okay? I've been clean from that shit. Right. I go and pick it up, bro. Right? I get to work. I usually smoke it, bro. I would usually smoke it, but I didn't have a pipe. It's fucking 4 a.m, bro. There ain't no head shops open to go get a pipe. So I fucking break up like 2 fucking gaggers, bro. I just remember, boom, I rip them, bro. And like, boom, I'm like, wow, blasted. I'm on one, bro. I'm fucking working. I'm doing what I gotta do. I remember going to the bathroom, and I look in the mirror, bro, and I look like fucking a walking zombie, bro. Like, I look so fucking shot out, bro. Like, so fucking shot out. Like, I couldn't believe it. And this is my rock bottom, bro.
Yeah.
This is Steven Simmons. This is my rock bottom. I'm telling you right here. I look in the mirror, I've been up since fucking Friday.
Right.
It's fucking Monday morning. I've been living off of fucking alcohol, beer, and fucking
Yeah,
coke,
and
and
Coke,
fucking, and now I'm doing meth.
yeah.
So I look at myself. I'm just like, boom, bro. I hit my rock bottom. The people that have never hit a rock bottom, bro, it's hard to explain what that feels like. I guess it could be somewhat of an epiphany, but an epiphany could be a good thing.
Yeah.
It was a good thing, but
Yeah.
some people have epiphanies from positive events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had an epiphany from a very negative event,
Right.
which is my rock bottom.
Right.
So I'm looking in the mirror, bro. I look like shit. I'm sucked up. Fucking, I feel like shit. The immense feeling, bro, of remorse and shame that is like flowing over me, bro, is almost like I can't even explain it. You know, almost feel suicidal to agree. You just like you know what I mean? Like I'm looking. So then I'm just like now that inner voice is talking to me, bro. Now that inner voice is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you're doing meth again, bro? Like what the fuck? Like you know, dude, you're fucking white. I'm not even married yet. Like my wife's gonna leave me. I'm gonna lose everything I have. Like blah blah blah. You know. So I fucking flushed the shit down, bro. Finish what I had to do. Get to the house. I walk in the front door. As soon as my wife sees me, bro, she's like, looks at me, she's like, what the fuck are you on? Like, because she knows me.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been fucking around with that shit for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told her, I'm just like, I got mad. She's like, you got, what the fuck, dude?
Where's this going?
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? And I just go in the room, bro, and I fucking crashed, right? Like, I just hit this pillow and crashed. I don't even know how long I slept, but probably a day and a half, 2 days. And this is where this journey began, where I'm at now.
Yeah, and this is in the height of like,
pandemic.
You're at your the pandemic. You're at your physical peak, probably.
At this point, I wasn't at my peak, but I was.
But just off of it.
Yeah.
You would just accomplished like.
That was a couple years. The last competition was a couple years before. Yeah, with physical
like 2018,
peak.
like 27. You said 2017 or 2018.
Like end of 2017, almost 2018.
2018.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple years later, yeah.
Like, so I mean, but you're
I'm still in great shape.
You're still in great shape.
Yeah, I'm still in great shape. Yeah.
Like, I mean, because I'm thinking, going through like the pandemic's a blur for me, but I remember looking looking through your like having you on my feed on my Instagram and stuff like that. Nowhere would I have like imagined like any of that was
nobody
any of that was going anywhere like near that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Nobody knew it except the people that were the closest to me, and even that was maybe 2 people.
Like the only thing that I remember was like the weed.
Yeah.
Know? And it was like
I was always promoting weed.
Yeah. It was like
sure.
like get high, and it was like, and I was like, and it was kind of, you know, in a sense inspirational. I was like, man, I was like, look, this is dope that he can be at his physical peak like he is, you know, and still kind of moderately like enjoy getting high and like smoking weed and like, you know, kind of like balancing life.
Yeah.
You know? Or at least it seemed like a balance of life.
I was balancing it as however I could.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's just like to know that was going on in the background.
It's mind blowing.
It's insane.
Because like people, now that I've told my story, and we'll get in deeper to where I'm at now, to where I share now, people didn't know. It was crazy, you know. Like, you know, I kept it from people. I hid it as best as I could, you know. I was ashamed, you know. I was ashamed of it, you know.
Right.
But I'm an addict, bro. You know.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm an addict. And so I'm gonna continue.
No.
So,
I mean, yeah.
So
floor's yours.
So that was that. I wake up and I immediately say to myself, "This is it, dude. I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Like something needs to change. Something needs to fucking happen. I can't do this, right?
Right.
So here we go again with the fucking balls to the wall, 1 speed, full speed, right? So I set up a cold. I'm gonna go cold turkey, which I've done before.
Right.
Okay, I've done this before. The only difference is now I tell myself I have to stop everything. Okay, I can't just stop this. I have to stop everything. Right? So I do. So I stopped smoking weed. I stopped drinking alcohol, and I stopped doing any kind of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I make it 30 days. And the way that I did it, I set up my own program, bro.
Right.
And what I did was I started with the early rising. I started waking up 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, bro. Like everything I do is extreme.
Right.
when I get high, it'll be extreme. When I train at extreme, now getting sober, it had to be extreme.
Right.
It didn't have to be, but that's how my brain works.
That's how that works best for you.
So I would wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I would start with some type of, I would read something positive, right? Some type of self-motivational book, some type of spiritual book, something like that, you know? And then from there, I would take my dog and I'd go for a walk. We'd walk maybe for about an hour, but as I'm walking, I have positive shit in my ear.
Right.
Motivation speaking, something like that.
Right.
I get back from the walk, I immediately go into workout, right? So like, I'm starting my day with so much positivity, bro. Like I have to, you know, get a jump start.
Overload of positivity.
So then after the workout, then I go to work, and from work, you know, and eating right and everything. So I did that for like 30 days, dude, right? And then I got to the 30-day mark, which I've been there before, bro. You know, it's not like something new to me.
Right.
So then I ran into I'll name drop. You know Johnny. I ran into him. He was getting some. I can't remember. We get some. I ran into him. He's like, "Hey, how are you doing? What's going on?" And I'm like, "Actually, bro, I'm not doing that great." You know, I go, "I'm just I'm about 30 days, 31 days at that time sober. You know, I'm coming off of meth and shit." And he's like, "Me too." He just got out of rehab for the same shit, right? And he's like, "Hey, have you ever been to AA?" And I was like, "I got a DUI back in the day, bro. And for me, AA, you know, I had to go court ordered. And you know, I used to do at the time. I used to go get high in the parking lot, put my fucking hood on, go to AA, mind my business, not even participate, get my shit signed and leave."
Yeah.
That was my memory of AA. So he's like, would you be interested in coming to AA with me? I was like, at this point, I need anything I can, bro. Yeah. Like I need to stay sober. So I went to AA, and I remember the day that I went, it was like they have different type of meetings. So this one was like a birthday meeting. So on a birthday meeting, people receive a chip for certain amounts of sobriety. Yeah. So that particular meeting, bro, my first AA meeting, I saw a guy go and take a chip for 1 year sobriety. I saw a dude take a chip for 25 years sobriety. I saw a dude take a chip for like 30 years sobriety. So I'm sitting there, dude, I'm just like, what the fuck? These dudes are fucking 30 years?
30 years.
25 years? Now like the ball's rolling, I'm just like, because I never thought about being sober forever, bro. Right. I just thought about getting clean so I could get a hold of myself and maybe get back to like doing what I do.
Moderate, yeah.
But now I'm like, this opened my eyes, like, what the fuck? So now I went back, I'm going to meetings, but right? Then I get a sponsor, right? I meet my sponsor, then we start working the big book together, right? I'm doing the 12 steps, bro. I'm doing the 12 steps, you know, I'm clean, I'm sober. Then I fucking celebrate my 6 month, you know, I celebrate my 1 year, you know? So I get a year clean and sober underneath my belt, bro. All through the pandemic, bro, too. I got sober during the pandemic, which is crazy, you know? And in between this happening, you know, me and my wife get married. You know, I get back into the work field, which is what I do. I'm a maintenance mechanic, bro. That's what I've been doing. I went to school for, you know? Yeah. And this, so AA saved me, bro. The program of AA saved me. And let me tell you this, which I didn't know at the time. It's actually a spiritual program, you know? And one thing that I learned within my sobriety and all these years of trying to get so clean and sober, I didn't have a higher power anymore, bro. So AA helped me find a higher power. And I realized like that's what I was missing all these years, you know? So now that through AA, through the 12 steps and through my higher power, now I had something, you know, I had something else, you know, to help guide me. Yeah. You know, so I pray on it, you know, and I'm not a religious guy, bro. I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't really even believe in religious. I don't knock anybody that's religious. However, you have to have your faith, more power to you. Right. Just be connected. But I definitely have a higher power, you know. Right. Call him God, call him whatever you want to call him. I call him my higher power that I stay connected to. You know, and as long as I stay connected to the higher power, I know I'm gonna stay sober. I'm gonna stay clean, you know. Right. And I'm saying all this because we're gonna get to the mental health issue. So this September 9th, I'm going to celebrate 3 years sober off of alcohol and weed. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to talk to people lie. I've had a couple slip-ups with powder and stuff. Over the 3 years, I've maybe done it a handful of times. But I've always been able to, you know, get back on and get time under my belt, you know. But yes, I have not had a drink of alcohol, and I've not had smoked any weed, and I've not done any meth for almost 3 years, you know. And So now I'm riding this high, bro. Like I'm 2 years sober, bro. 2 years sober. I'm almost 3. So let's go back a year. I'm 2 years sober, bro. I'm back at work. I wasn't back in the gym yet, bro, because of my hours. You know how it is, working graveyard. My company's 24/7, so I work 12-hour shifts. So I work 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. We have like offsetting schedules. Like I work 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 2. So really, I wasn't able to work out, which that's big for me too.
Yeah.
So that was also affecting my mental health, you know. But I was fucking clean and sober, bro. Right. You know, it's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
But check this out. Here we go now with the mental health. I thought my whole problem all these fucking years, my whole life was I need to get clean and sober.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm clean and sober, and guess what? I still have the same fucking issues, bro.
Yeah.
I still have the same fucking communication problems with my wife. Yeah. I still have depression. I still have anxiety. Yeah. But now I'm not fucking getting high. Yeah. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? Right. Yeah, I got all this shit going on in my head. Now I can't get high, bro.
And you have nothing to blame it on either.
And I have nothing to blame it on.
Right.
Right? So now that's why I'm just like, now what do I do? Right. Now this is when the whole mental health thing got thrown in my face. Through my feelings and emotions. Right. Now I go, okay, now I need to direct this towards this part of my life. Right. You know, because now here we go. I'm having issues with my marriage again because I can't communicate to my wife. Right. You know, I'm having issues with dealing with these feelings and emotions that now I can't get high. So now what am I going to do? Right. So I reached out to a therapist. Once I realized I couldn't do it on my own, bro, and I think that's something to being a man. Yeah. Is that once I finally accepted the fact that I can't do this shit on my own. I thought I could, and I fucking can't, bro. That's being a man. Right. To admit that I can't. Right. So I reached out and I started therapy, and that helped out a lot. Right. I started, working with the therapist, and then I was able to. Number one thing, I was able to work on my communication skills. 2, I was finally able to heal from my mom. Right. I was finally able to talk about my mom, and I was finally able to go through that process to actually heal from that. Because before I couldn't even talk about it. I couldn't even talk like the way.
So that's over 20 years of just keeping that with you.
Keeping it with me. Now I couldn't even talk about it. Like the way that we're talking now, I wouldn't even be able to talk about it, bro.
Yeah. I was actually worried about bringing it up. I was gonna let you bring it up and let you go about it, but that's one of the things that I remember specifically from when we were in high school.
No, but like now I could talk about anything, bro. Even the most uncomfortable things I could talk about. Right. Because that's how it should be. Right. We got to be able to release these things. Right. Talk about these things. And so through therapy, I'm not in therapy now, but I was in therapy. I was in therapy for a little while working on it. And now, since I'm out of therapy, I developed a lot of techniques and skills. Like you said, breath work works really good for me. Meditation is good, but breath work is what really does it for me. Some authors, some books, I could, like I said, like Young Pueblo, a lot of these other, there's Man Talks, I follow another one. There's these things that, focus specifically on men and our mental health. These are things that I've worked on and continue to work on today to be where I'm at now, so I can be the best man that I can be for myself. And then I can be the best man I can for you, my friends, family, and wife, Right. And it starts with, which is the hardest part, is just brutal, radical honesty, bro. Right. With yourself first, because I went through so many years of lying to myself. Yeah. And that's what I did. I lied to myself. It didn't matter if I lied to you or anybody else. That didn't matter. I was lying to myself. Yeah. And once I figured that, I realized that's what I was doing, and developed the skills to be able to sit with these emotions, bro. Sit with these feelings. Pause. Process them. And release them. And not suppress them. Now I can actually have a conversation with my wife, even if it's a conflict.
Yeah, something triggering.
Something triggering. I can still sit there and we can talk about it. Yeah. I'm not going to shut down. Yeah. I'm going to talk. I'm going to give her space to talk. I'll have space to talk. It might not feel the best, right? But I'm able to do it. And that is all mental health, bro. And that is something like. I work out every day. I love working out, bro. That for me, now I'm back in the gym. I think that's kind of when you reached out to me when I had got back in the gym full time, because I started getting on my social media about it, because I'm always going to promote fitness, bro. I love it. Yeah. And fitness does correspond with your mental health.
For sure.
But also you have to take care of your mental health. I think that's a post you saw, because people once I started lifting, bro, I started getting those messages. I think I told you, oh, bro, what's that workout plan, bro? Yeah. Like, what's a routine, like this and that. But then, like I told you, on the flip side, no one's asking me, like, oh, how you doing, bro?
Exactly.
How's everything? And I think that's that post that I made for that story. And I was like, let me speak on this.
Yeah.
I go, this is actually my platform for where I can address this now.
Right.
You know, like in a healthy way, because I know if I'm going through this, there's other guys going through this.
Definitely.
You know, and they may not know how to talk about it, and maybe I can be the guy where they can be like, oh damn, fucking Steve, like whether they respect me or not,
Yeah.
they can maybe look at me and relate with me.
Right.
You know, at least in some way, we're like, well, damn, dude, that guy, like you said, you looked at my feed, you never know that I was dealing with depression, drug addiction, all that.
Yeah.
So if I throw that all out there, maybe they could look at me and be like, well, damn, dude, like Steve went through that shit too, or he's going through that. Right. You know, and it's like, and I could open up and talk about it. Then yeah, dude, it's like, this is normal shit, guys, that we go through. This is shit that we have to talk about, we have to address. I saw one thing that was real powerful. I can't remember what it was from, but this stuck with me too. It was like this study that they did. And I think they surveyed like 100 guys, and it was real fast. And like the question was, and it was all different walks of life, all different cultures, races, you name it, right? Men. Yeah. The question was, hey, if you're not feeling good, is there somebody that you can talk to? Like that was a base question, right? And one after another, bro, on the camera, they're changing, and every answer was no. Who? No. Why? No. One after another, bro. Not one fucking guy on there was like, oh yeah, I have somebody to talk to. Not one, bro. Yeah. And I saw that, and that shit like hit me hard. Like, damn, bro, that's real. Yeah. You know that we're all walking this earth, men, bottling shit up, thinking like that's how it's gotta be. It ain't gotta be like that, bro. Yeah. Dude, I'll have days where I'll fucking be at the house, bro. I'll cry my eyes out, bro. Yeah. You know, I'll get emotional. I'll just cry. Before I wasn't able to do that. Yeah. I fucking hadn't shed a tear in years, bro. Yeah. And that's not healthy. Yeah. When you actually read about crying, bro, that's like an emotion that we're supposed to feel.
They say the two most similar things are laughing and crying.
Yeah.
You know, and they both bring up the same kind of endorphin and release.
And they need to be released.
Right.
Like my sponsor told me, crying cleanses the soul. Yeah. And it's fucking, that's real, bro. That's real, you know? That's true. But that's why I'm where I'm at now, bro. I'm in a good spot, bro. I'm always gonna be you know, having to check myself, I call it, you know?
Yeah.
With my emotions, my feelings, when shit arises, you know, and you know, continue to work on that. Because it's never gonna change, but eventually it's gonna get where when certain things come up, you know how to pivot away from it, or you know how to pivot that feeling away rather than sit with it, let it either get you angry or get you sad or get you depressed. Like now you'll develop a skill set, you'll develop a technique to where, okay, here it comes, like this emotion's coming in, pause, sit, why am I experiencing this emotion? What's causing it? Okay, you know, what can I do? You know, and like a healthy way to, you know,
disperse of it,
you know, and be okay with it.
Right.
You know, and not hold it, not hold on to it. That's the whole thing, is not to hold on to these emotions and feelings to where it bottles up, you know, and brings you down.
Right.
And I'm no pro. I'm still, you know, I'm no pro by any means, but I'm not turning towards the drugs or the alcohol. Yeah. You know, I'm when I do get depressed or I do get anxiety, I have techniques and stuff that I use now. You know, and like I said, it's just staying consistent with all this. You know, is what I got to do. You know, and working out. Like working out is also very therapeutic for me. Right. I go to the gym, bro. That's like my safe space. At the same time, I get my endorphins, you know, out there. You know, and you know, a lot of times if I am battling with
there goes a little perfect timing too. Hey, what are you doing? And I've been down.